This footage was taken in 2019 on US 491 in Arizona, New Mexico. The recording appears to have been captured on a mobile phone held up to or resting against the inside of a windshield. At approximately the 2-second mark, a pale shape is visible near the base and left side of a structure. It is soft-edged, indistinct. It could at this stage be a reflection light bouncing off a wet surface, or an artifact of the camera sensor struggling in near total darkness. Most people watching would not register it consciously. It sits just at the threshold of what the eye chooses to process as significant. By the 4-second mark, it has changed position. Not dramatically, not in a way that announces itself, but the shape has shifted. It is lower now and further right. It has moved along the ground in front of the structure, toward the right side of the frame. The movement when the frames are compared side by side is unmistakable. Whatever this is, it is not a reflection. Reflections do not migrate. At the 8-second mark, the shape resolves. What is visible at center of the frame, at approximately ground level, is a humanoid creature, or something that resembles a human. It is pale white or nearly white, and it is extended outward. The arms and limbs attached to it are moving at speeds that a human cannot possibly reach on all fours. The proportions are difficult to assess, precisely given the image quality. The legs, if they are legs, appear long. The overall shape of the body appears large. The angle at which it is extended low, almost flat to the ground, is not the angle of a biological human. There is no face visible, no other indication of what this thing is or what species it belongs to. A frame-by-frame, dimensional analysis of the footage offers some sobering figures. Using the vehicle hood visible at the lower right of the frame as a reference point, the hood width of a standard American full-size truck measuring approximately 65 inches across, and cross-referencing against the width of the road surface, estimated at 24 feet for a standard 2-lane rural American road. The pale shape near the gate can be loosely triangulated for scale. At ground level, the reaching appendage alone spans an estimated 18 to 22 inches in length, roughly 1.5 times the size of an average adult human hand, which measures 7.4 inches from wrist to middle fingertip. The body mass connected to it, obscured in darkness but traceable by the shadow displacement across the road surface, suggests a total crouched width of somewhere between 3 and 4 feet, broader than a North American black bear, which averages 2.5 feet at the shoulder. More concerning than the size, however, is the speed. Across the 8-second duration of the footage, the shape covers an estimated 12 to 15 feet of lateral ground, moving from the right side of the gate structure to within arm's reach of the vehicle without ever rising to full height, without ever becoming fully visible, and without producing any motion in the surrounding grass or gravel that the camera should have been able to detect. No known terrestrial predator of this estimated mass moves at that speed, over that distance, in a full crouch, in complete silence, and leaves no disturbance in its wake. The footage does not allow for a confident species identification. It does not allow for an identification of any kind. When the boundaries of zoology, biomechanics, and forensic video analysis have been exhausted, when every known species has been measured against the evidence and found incompatible, we are left with an uncomfortable choice. Conclude that the footage captures something not yet cataloged by science, or turn to older systems of knowledge. systems that predate the scientific method by centuries, systems that were never designed to explain the world away, but rather to describe it honestly, including the parts of it that kill you. The Navajo people, whose ancestral land covers much of the Four Corners region, where reports of encounters like this one cluster, most densely have a word for what may be visible in this footage. They call it Yi-nald-lushi. Translated most directly, the phrase means, with it, he goes on all fours. It belongs to a broader class of beings known in cosmology as Anti-Ini, the witchery people, and it is not a legend in the way that Western culture uses that word. It is not a story told to frighten children. It is not metaphor. Among traditional Navajo communities, the Yi-nald-lushi is treated as a real and present danger, a practitioner of the darkest form of Navajo witchcraft who has earned the ability to move between human and animal form by violating the most sacred of taboos. An act so severe that most Navajo elders will not specify what it entails, and many will refuse to discuss the subject at length at all, particularly after dark and particularly with strangers. To speak of it too openly, they say, is to invite its attention. The Yi-nald-lushi is described consistently across generations and across geographic distance within Navajo oral tradition. It moves on all fours at speeds no human body should be capable of. It mimics the appearance of animals, and occasionally of people known to its target. It is drawn to vehicles and to windows. Navajo accounts going back generations describe the Yi-nald-lushi as possessing a human intelligence, housed in something that no longer resembles a human body, a mind that plans, that waits, that selects. Encounters reported in the Four Corners region, along Route 491, and on rural properties bordering Navajo Nation land, describe the same sequence with remarkable consistency. A shape at the edge of visibility, low to the ground, pale-handed, patient. The same shape that appears in this footage, the same hand, the same reach. When the Navajo were asked historically what one should do upon encountering a Yi-nald-lushi, what action, what prayer, what defense exists, the answer given most often was not a ritual or an incantation. It was simpler than that and more final. They said, "Do not let it know that you have seen it. Because the moment it understands that you can see it," they said, "it stops waiting." And in this footage, in this 8-second recording made through the windshield of a stationary car on a dark road by a person whose name we do not know and whose fate we cannot confirm, the camera is pointed directly at it. The Yi-nald-lushi is, without question, visible, which means that whatever was crouched at that gate, reaching across the road in front of the vehicle with a pail and 2 large limbs, knew it was being watched, knew it had been seen. And the footage ends, not with the car driving away, but with the camera simply stopping.